In this week's drive, we see it all go terribly wrong in Belgium, get it all right in the desert, see a world champ just having fun, and turn the world upside down. All this and more in this week's Drive. We start this week with reigning Formula One world champion Michael Schumacher, who's endured the worst start to a season in his glittering 14-year career. But Ferrari got their Formula One challenge back on track at the San Marino Grand Prix in Imola. In testing at Mugello, the team proved that they were more prepared for their home Grand Prix than they were in Bahrain. Despite a slow start and getting trapped behind his brother's Toyota for much of the race, Michael narrowly missed winning the event again. Schumacher has won at Imola 5 times in the last 7 years, and Ferrari are confident he can again be fighting for victory and end the team's run of races without success. Schumacher and number 2 driver Rubens Barrichello made a poor start to the season, with the German collecting just 2 points from his first 3 starts, and then 8 more at Imola. Ferrari were forced to introduce their new F2005 car at the race in Bahrain, advancing its debut by 2 races in response to Renault's domination, which has seen Fernando Alonso winning 3 races, 2 from pole positions, and his teammate Giancarlo Fisichella taking the season opener in Australia.
Yeah, it was a big push on all the activity, and we had to accelerate of 5 weeks all the programs. So at the end, using the organization that we know pretty well, and is pretty, let's say, challenging on that aspect, so we were able to meet the target of Bahrain, even if at the end in Bahrain we had these reliability problems.
Schumacher and Ferrari must sustain their Imola pace if they want to hold off the rampant Renaults, and a host of other challengers who aren't intimidated by Ferrari anymore. Raikkonen put his McLaren on pole but retired with mechanical failure, while the Toyota is much improved, and Jenson Button brought his BAR home in 3rd place. Alonso, who leads the drivers' standings, and teammate Giancarlo Fisichella will each have a new front wing as Renault strive to stay ahead of the opposition.
It will be very tough. I think we took advantage of the first 3 races. The car was better than the others over the winter and for start the season. And now the others are probably learning a lot from us and from our car, and they will catch us a little bit quicker after these extra European races. So I think will be tougher, the competition. Also Ferrari with the new car seems more competitive, and will be more interesting races from now.
Keller entertained crowds in Rome with a demonstration drive around the city's ancient Circus Maximus.
At this moment in the championship, there is no time for dreams. I think we have to wait until the last 3 or 4 races to start thinking about the championship. The only thing I am doing now is enjoying the moment. I have a car that is doing very well. It does not break, and that's all I have to think about now, to enjoy myself at the wheel and try to win all the races I can. After that, I'll have time to think about other things.
At home in Italy, he's a major celebrity, and Giancarlo Fisichella had high hopes of a win in front of his home fans at Imola, but crashed out early on. There are rumours that Mark Webber might join the list of drivers with very brief careers at Williams. Despite his 5th place in Australia, he's been outperformed by teammate Nick Heidfeld, who took the team's first podium of the year at Sepang. Webber has never finished better than his qualifying position, but blamed a poor pit stop strategy for his 10th place finish at Imola, from 4th on the grid. And controversy has already reared. Ferrari are ignoring a limit on testing. BAR deny their car was underweight at Imola, and although the stewards agree, the governing body is checking the decision. Ralf Schumacher was given a 25-second penalty for a pit lane move that blocked Heidfeld's run out of pit lane, which demoted Ralf to 11th place and lifted Nick to 8th. low cloud failed to dampen spirits for the opening round of the 2005 Le Mans Endurance Series. Organisers decided that the race should go ahead, despite visibility of less than 100 metres at the top of the hill at Lacombe. And although there were several accidents during the race, none could be attributed to poor visibility. The race was fiercely contested from start to finish by the Pescarolo Sport Team, Audi PlayStation, and the eventual winners, the Zytek team of John Nielsen, Hayanari Shimoda and Kasper Elgaard. Tyre choice in the conditions was critical, and both the Pescarolo and the Audi were on Michelin's rain tyres. Emmanuel Collard set a searing pace in the Pescarolo C60, bearing the famously lurid green of multiple Le Mans winner Henri Pescarolo's helmet. Ortelli took the lead in the third hour, but the Audi team's day was to end in disappointment. Co-driver Jean-Marc Gounon was involved in a bizarre accident following the safety car in the fifth hour of the race, crashing into the guardrail exiting the bus stop chicane when his tyres suddenly cooled. This promoted John Nielsen into the lead. By now, the Pescarolo was a lap behind the new leaders after losing time in the pits. Nielsen dutifully secured victory for Zytek with the Pescarolo C60 in second place. Martin Short and Rob Bath claimed third in a Dallara Judd. Nielsen raised the rule changes that mean that some of the Le Mans Series cars are no longer eligible for the main event, the 24 Hours of Le Mans.
It's a long time ago since we've won a race, and now coming back to Real MES, not going to Le Mans because apparently they don't want us. I don't know why, but winning here is what we came for, and we did it, and we're back.
There's a lengthy wait to the next round. The next stage of the 2005 Le Mans Endurance Series is at Monza on July the 10th. The new Lola, driven by Bob Berridge, Peter Owen and Gareth Evans, won the LMP2 category, coming fifth overall. GT champion Scuderia Italia won the GT1 category, Golan, Ramos and Cressoni coming sixth in their Ferrari Maranello. TVR scored a 1-2 in GT2, Hughes, Kane and Tomlinson finishing eighth. Over in America, similar cars were contesting round 2 of the 10-race American Le Mans Series, the Grand Prix of Atlanta. Double trouble, though, for the Panos, driven by Scott Maxwell, as a tyre began to lose pressure. Seconds later, the bonnet and a piece of the front end blew off his car.
I wonder if that's the left front suspension that has been broken. Uphill left-hander, he's trying to get under throttle early.
The Dyson Lola of James Weaver and Butch Leitzinger was among the leaders when it spun, although the engine refired and got back into the race.
See him start to correct early. There's the correction, and then he tries to come back. But at that point, it's the tail wagging the dog.
A controversial moment came late in the race when Robin Liddell was tapped and spun by Timo Bernhardt. Amazingly enough, the same thing had happened to Liddell in the same spot earlier in the Speed GT race. This time, though, Liddell was able to get his car pointed in the right direction and back into the race.
He could not make the corner.
Now this is the race we were telling you.
Timo.
Race officials immediately penalised Bernhardt, showing him a black flag, which required the German Porsche driver to come to the pits for a stop-and-go penalty. That allowed Liddell to reclaim the class lead with just 1.5 minutes left in the race.
Well, here they come to the checker.
Finland's JJ Lehto, ex-Formula One and a Le Mans 24-hour winner, and his co-driver Marco Werner of Germany took the checkered flag in their Audi R8 to claim overall victory and the P1 class.
The hill, the final time.
Despite his late race spin, Robin Liddell took first place in the GT2 class.
The GT2 win. That car put together right here. O'Connell, who got his first.
Johnny O'Connell, who'd earlier claimed his first career American Le Mans Series pole, won the GT1 class. John Field teamed up with his son Clint to win the P2 category in his Lola, having started fifth overall. More than 200,000 spectators watched as Greg Biffle, second in the point standings, started at the very back of the field, 41st, and in a backup car. It was a 7-car pileup on lap 32. Jeff Green spun to bring out the 4th caution period of the race. While the field tried to avoid Green, Bobby Labonte, Kyle Busch, Bobby Hamilton, Scott Wimmer, Travis Kvapil and Brian Vickers all got involved.
You can see him up high. He just got
late in the race on lap 241, Robbie Gordon, running 1 lap down, spun coming out of turn 2 and hit the wall to bring out the 8th caution flag of the day.
And he was having a decent run. He was just 1 lap down, running up.
30 laps later, Casey Kane, who said he had felt a vibration all day, crashed hard. A broken oil pump shaft caused the crash, his 3rd DNF this season. Frustratingly, he was running 5th at the time. There were just 37 laps left when a broken conrod caused flames to shoot out from underneath and inside Tony Stewart's car. After bringing the car to a halt, Stewart was able to climb out unaided and walk to the trackside ambulance.
And was okay. This was with about 37 laps to go.
Greg Biffle, driving a backup car because of a crash in practice on Friday, climbed to 15th place by lap 26 and took the lead on lap 87. He led for 219 of the 334 laps, winning his second race of the season and the 5th of his career.
That should be a happy group.
Hey, you guys on pit road.
The Qatar Motor and Motorcycle Federation laid on a challenging route for the Qatar Rally, the 4th round of the Middle East Rally Championship. 29 cars took part and they faced 5 timed gravel special stages repeated twice in the deserts around Doha. Qatar's Nasser Salih Al Attiyah and co-driver Chris Patterson led after 6 timed special stages of the opening leg on Friday. UAE's Sheikh Khalid Al Qasimi and Michael Orr were second in their Subaru, 24.8 seconds behind, with Jordan's Ahmed Farah and UAE's Sheikh Sulal bin Khalifa Al Maktoum in 3rd and 4th. Sheikh Misfa Al Murray and co-driver Adel Hussein stayed in touch in their elderly Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 6. Al Attiyah began the final 4 stages on Saturday north of Doha, 56.8 seconds ahead of Al Qasimi and Orr. A repeat of each of the Tinbuk and Jeri Masad stages was then on the agenda, and Al Attiyah extended his lead by 2 seconds over the opening stages. But he damaged the steering near the start of Special Stage 8, and Al Qasimi managed to whittle the lead down to just 27 seconds with 2 stages remaining. Al Qasimi was also ahead of Al Attiyah through the early part of the next stage, but he sustained a flat tyre, and that all but settled the outcome. Only a repeat run through the Jeri Masad stage stood in Al Attiyah's way. He avoided any problems and clung on to take victory. Al Qasimi damaged a ball joint on the final stage and he slid down the field, allowing Al Maktoum to claim 2nd place, well clear of Qatar's Khalifa Al Attiyah, who came 3rd.
Thanks to Allah for winning. This is my 4th victory in the Middle East Rally Series this season. And I was so keen to win here, in my country, Qatar. I am very pleased with what I have achieved so far. I hope to win all the rounds of the Middle East Rally and set a new record.
He now holds a 16-point lead in the Drivers' Championship with 5 events remaining. Under varying weather conditions and a changing surface, the world's top motocross riders struggled to master the tricky track. Finland's Jussi Veiviläinen took an early lead, but Stefan Everts soon began to pressure him. On the badly rutted circuit, Everts overhauled the Finn to take the lead and extended it to 20 seconds by the end, clearly recovered from his recent rib injury. Another Belgian, Steve Ramon, battled with Frenchman Michael Pichon. Jussi Veiviläinen slipped to 3rd behind Luigi Segai on his Yamaha. Veteran Joel Smets, yet another Belgian, multiple former world champion, was forced out with carburetor problems. Everts cruised to an easy-looking win in the first moto, but Pichon was also sidelined with mechanical failure. Was able to fight back and win the second moto, but he'd lost valuable points in the series standings. Everts had got off to a dream start in the second race, ahead of Smets, Pichon and Josh Coppins. Track was degrading quickly, and a rare slip-up by Everts while defending against a charging Pichon proved costly. He lost the lead to his nearest rival and rejoined in 3rd place behind Coppins, but was able to hold off Smets. Pichon ran away to win ahead of Coppins. Despite his error, a victory and the 3rd place handed Everts 45 valuable championship points that extends his overall lead to 16 points clear of Pichon in the series. Second overall on the day was Josh Coppins on 40 points and 3rd Veiviläinen on 31. It's the 81st Grand Prix victory for the 8-time world champion Everts, and he now heads to his favourite circuit, Namur, with the comfort of a slight cushion. In the title standings, Pichon is second on 109 points and is now being chased by Josh Coppins in third with 101. Round 3 of the Superbike World Championship was in Spain, and Troy Corser grabbed an early lead. Race 1 saw plenty of incidents. Max Neukirchner dramatically high-sided off his Honda before attention turned to the battle for second place between the Yamaha of Norik Abe and young Australian Chris Vermeulen's Honda. The duel ended with Abe sliding onto the dirt on lap 22, but the gritty rider picked up his bike and managed to finish the race. Frenchman Regis Laconi had to pull out of both races after falling and suffering concussion in the warm-up. Meanwhile, former world champion Troy Corser was comfortably keeping out of trouble, having fun sliding his Suzuki in a masterful display. He crossed the line with his trademark standing wheelie 6 seconds ahead of the Honda of Vermeulen and his Suzuki teammate Yukio Kageyama. At one point, he was 18 seconds ahead of his nearest rival. Reigning champion James Toseland couldn't manage better than 8th. Race 2 saw pole sitter Corser turn into the first corner behind the Yamaha R1 of Andrew Pitt after a screaming start off the grid by the young Australian. Vermeulen and Chris Walker were also in close attendance. The Yamaha couldn't match the Suzuki for power, and halfway through the first lap, compatriot Corser had taken the lead with an unusual manoeuvre on the outside. His hold on the race then loosened, and he soon had to relinquish second place to the prodigious talent of another fellow Australian, Chris Vermeulen. Sealing a miserable weekend for the Foggy Petronas racing team, yet another Australian, Gary McCoy, fell off, taking Ivan Silva and defending champion James Toseland with him. With 5 laps remaining, England's Chris Walker was on a charge and was reeling in Vermeulen for the second podium spot. There seemed nothing he could do to pass the Honda, and the positions remained unchanged. Putting on a show for the crowd, Corser clinched his second victory of the day to extend his lead atop the overall standings with 141 points. Vermeulen held off Chris Walker for another second-place finish, and he now lies third in the championships on 90 points behind Yukio Kageyama on 110. Corser has now won 5 of the 6 races run so far this season. Not surprisingly, Suzuki have a massive lead. 50 points over Honda on 93, Yamaha on 65, and the once all-conquering Ducati down on 64. Portugal hosted the opening round of the 2005 Outdoor Trials World Championship. Dougie Lamkin wasn't expected to compete for the top spot on the podium, as he was riding a new 4-stroke Montesa that's still undergoing development. The Briton, who's won 7 consecutive outdoor titles from 1997 to 2003, confounded the doubters though, picking up the lowest amount of penalty points, 21, in a victorious start to the season. Lamkin is the first rider to win an outdoor World Championship event on a 4-stroke motorbike since his compatriot Steve Saunders rode a Honda to first place in 1986. It was a 3rd successive Outdoor Trials Grand Prix victory for Lamkin, who won the final 2 rounds of the 2004 season. Claiming second place was Adam Raga, the reigning indoor world champion. Raga finished level on points with his fellow Spaniard Albert Cabastani. Both riders received 25 penalty points, which would have meant the runners-up place going to Cabastani, as he'd covered more sections without conceding a point. However, a marshal later admitted that he made a mistake on one of Raga's sections, and Raga's score was amended to 24 points. It was bad news for Cabastani, but at least he reached the podium in 3rd place. Rather surprising turn of events, youngster Tony Bow outperformed a host of experienced riders to finish in 4th place. The 18-year-old Spanish beta rider picked up 31 penalty points to make his mark on the Outdoor Trials World. Takahisa Fujinami of Japan ended Lamkin's dominance of the sport in 2004. However, the reigning outdoor champion made a nervous start to his title defence, and he finished a long way behind his championship rivals. Fujinami had to settle for a disappointing 5th place after conceding a total of 34 penalty points. Lamkin proudly took his place at the top of the podium, flanked by Raga and Kabastani. The 29-year-old will be looking to continue his successful start to the campaign at the next round, the Spanish Grand Prix. Switzerland, the country without a racetrack, hosted the latest round of the freestyle motocross series dubbed the Night of Jumps. Riders performed stunning tricks and stunts on man-made ramps inside a stadium with very little space for stopping. Gary Taylor of England claimed 3rd place with 162 points by performing a 9 o'clock, a double-handed heart attack and a tsunami. This move, resembling a surfing wave, has been practiced for many years before the December 2004 disasters around the Indian Ocean. Øystein Kjørstad of Norway was second by a narrow margin, scoring 166 points. His repertoire included a backflip, a one-handed seat grab, Indian air, and bar hop Indian leading into a one-handed landing. But the excited home crowd boosted local hero Matt Rabot to a well-deserved win, scoring 200 points. Matt's ride on the tight and technically difficult course thrilled the spectators as he invented his own big gap backflip combination. His performance included a one-handed backflip, a no-footed backflip, knack-knack backflip, and his own invention, the one-handed can-can backflip. Finally, we go back to Abu Dhabi for an unusual kind of motorsport. Billed as Formula One in the sky, elite world-class aerobatic pilots navigated through a course of 18-metre-high pylons, flying at speeds of up to 500 kilometres per hour and experiencing 11G. Sometimes just being able to stay conscious is a feat in itself. The winner was Peter Bessenay of Hungary. It was Bessenay who invented and developed this type of racing in 2003, wherein the world's best aerobatic pilots competed against the clock and each other. Steve Jones of Britain finished second, while Mike Mangold from America was third. The air race is a new type of air racing that features single-format racing through a radical slalom-style course marked by air-filled pylons. Over 110,000 fans came out in Abu Dhabi for the kick-off of the 7-race series. Pilots must fly not only low with meticulous precision at breakneck speed, but they're required to execute predetermined aerobatic maneuvers, all under the pressure of a ticking stopwatch. The air race is in its 2nd year, with the next stop in Rotterdam on June the 12th. The series ends during Fleet Week in San Francisco, California, on October the 8th. Personally, I think I'd prefer my racing to be much closer to the ground. So, whether you're trying to keep your job, trying to see where you're going, or just trying to stay in control, so you stay on track and up to speed, make sure you catch next week's Drive.